And good Saturday morning, everyone, and we welcome you into the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, California for our marquee matchup here on day number 1 of our third NVA event of the 2022 regular season as the Texas Tyrants, the New Jersey Freedom, battle of the unbeatens, both 4-0 on the year. Well, they will meet to decide the only unbeaten team remaining in the National Volleyball Association. Good morning, wherever you're watching this one. I'm Ira Thor, joined alongside Matt Prosser. Pretty soon it'll be afternoon everywhere in America, and certainly a matchup that we've been looking forward to since the end of last event when the Tyrants remained unbeaten by going the distance and then some against Las Vegas. New Jersey's had a much easier path to get there, Matt. Yeah, well, this is definitely going to be a great matchup between two undefeated teams that appear to be at nearly full strength. The only missing piece will be from the Tyrants. Their libero, Jose Malero, will not be in attendance for this match as he's traveling at the moment. But Team Freedom playing a good brand of volleyball as they continue to develop, as well as the Tyrants, too. So this should be a very exciting match. However, I think that one missing piece might be the difference today. Jose Malero defensively is playing as well as any libero in the NVA. It's the little things like that in a match like this where New Jersey has so many different options that have been intricate in their victories this year. That might be the difference. New Jersey, as you said in our pregame show today, really hasn't been tested. The only test was against an OC Stunner team that was shorthanded and didn't have you as head coach at the time. So that's two big missing pieces. But, you know, for Texas, they showed some against first the LA Blaze and then of course, the Las Vegas Ramblers. They showed some vulnerabilities in their offense. Question is, defensively, is the passing of Langlois and Grasso and company going to be enough today to overcome missing Jose Malero, who, in my opinion, inch for inch, is one of the most valuable defensive players in the entire league? Well, one of the characteristics of the Tyrants is that they're a little bit of a slow-starting group. They, I think, have lost their first set in most of their matches and then have had to up their level and come from behind a little bit more to pull off those victories. So it will be interesting to see if they utilize that same strategy or if they get off to a better start, knowing that they've got to make up a little bit of room there by missing Malero in the back row and also playing another undefeated program here in Freedom. Take a look at today's starting lineups. First for the Tyrants, replacing Jose Malero at libero will be Andrew Pearson. He'll wear the number 6 uniform. He can do a little bit of everything. He's actually a middle on the roster, but as we've been notified, he is a truly versatile player. Tough shoes for him to fill today. Gabo Quiones, number 7, will set. Gianluca Grasso and Jake Langlois are your outsides. Daniel Jacobs is going to get the start on the right side, number 16, and your middles are Ryan Mounty, number 15, and Austin Lovett, number 22. For New Jersey Freedom, Ian Capp, number 4, and Tim Ferder, number 7, are your outsides for now. Middle 1 will be Matt Seifert. Middle 2, and this is an interesting decision, Doug Zema is going to get the start because they've had a number of different options in middle this year, including Thomas Burrell and Matt Buffum, among others, but we're going to get the start from Doug Zema. The right side, of course, is Joe Norman, one of your top scoring players in the league. Setting today is Matt Elias, and your libero today will be number 5, Ryan Alou, as John Cunningham not available for this match. We are underway. New Jersey serving first as we begin our second match of the day. And blocked back, we start with a stuff from Seifert and Norman. Well, that's going to be a very interesting matchup as this match progresses. Daniel Jacobs getting the start at the opposite position for the Tyrants, hitting against two 6'10 blockers in Matt Seifert and Joe Norman. As Elias serves away, Jacobs swinging over that nearly 7-foot double block. That time he does a nice job, showing that he's not afraid to swing away and challenge those blockers for the second time in a row. So here's Jake Langlois serving, former BYU All-American. And clipping the antenna is Ian Capp, point to the Tyrants. Now in our pregame show, we pick our picks for every match, and this was the only one where we differ. You, Nick, and I had a differing take on this one. I've all year been on the Texas Tyrant train. I think that they were the best all-around, at least starting lineup in the entire NVA. But without Malero today, I picked New Jersey. First time I've picked against the Tyrants all season. And we're going to have a challenge immediately, whether that was a violation on New Jersey or if it was actually the Tyrants.
So okay, here's what the situation is. The point was awarded to the Tyrants on a hitting error, called hitting error on Ian Capp. However, being that you and I are sitting right next to the court, I in fact saw Gianluca Grasso touch the antenna on his block, and that is what the challenge is. So the challenge is a net violation on the Tyrants, which should get overturned because somehow it was missed. I'm not too sure how, but it was a pretty blatant net violation by Grasso on that play.
And this is why we have replay for exactly what you just said. And it's interesting, quite frankly, because from the angle that I was sitting, I cannot see the antenna clearly, or at least the Tyrant side. And when I saw the call against Capp, I was like, with my own eyes, I never saw the ball clip it. So how did that antenna move?
Yeah.
And your explanation certainly.
I may have gotten a little bit of a wink that time from number 9 in the white stripes over there, confirming that he did hit the antenna. So I do think that this is a early challenge, and I sort of wish that Grasso would maybe just admit to the fact that he did touch the antenna, because if Freedom does get the call overturned in their favor, which they do, they still save their challenge, and if Grasso had just admitted to it, then we would have avoided that whole conversation.
Well, there's always the chance that the net camera's not functioning properly right now, just like our monitor at courtside. So
this is true, Ira. Good point.
So we cannot see what we are talking about today, other than what we're looking at right at the court. But we'll adjust.
It's called adversity, and sometimes you got to work through it.
Ian Capp with a huge serve, but it doesn't matter as Austin Lovett gets a ball he can swing at. So they will hand the ball to Austin Lovett. Native of San Jose, California. Goes deep corner, and he just misses. Good idea, though, from Lovett.
Lovett trying to use the whole court and just misses the corner.
So here's Matt Seifert. Former Penn State standout. Goes with the deep float and nearly handcuffs the new libero. Capp goes to Norman, and he finds the back corner. It was a very awkward pass from Pearson. Jacobs was able to keep it alive, but that put the Tyrants out of system immediately.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely a point of contention for the Tyrants, and Freedom should expose it the entire match long. Going after Andrew Pearson in serve reception has to prove to be a big point, like you said, Ira. Without the services of Jose Malero for this match, can Pearson hold up his end of the bargain for his program?
After Pearson again, as if you were coaching from the table. But the answer from Grasso as he scorches that through. And Jacobs will serve. Listen, I think your take is right on the money. Pearson is not in your traditional libero lineup. This is professional volleyball. If that is who you think is the weakest link out there, you got to target them.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see. I know Coach Grasso definitely has some tricks in his bag to possibly hide Pearson a little bit if he's getting picked on too much, but expect to see Jake Langlois and the rest of the Tyrants pick up some of that slack as well.
Two experienced coaches for both sides. Mauro Grasso, of course, the father of Gianluca Grasso, and Carlo Edra, a very successful collegiate coach leading New Jersey. Here's Joe Norman. That is blocked back, covered by Quiones. Oh, in the set, nobody picked it up. And an early mistake against Texas. New Jersey with a 6-3 lead.
Now Ryan Mounty had to step in and set. Didn't realize that Jacobs was back row. Set him in the front row. And there was no hitter there to attack that set. Court awareness is key sometimes, Ira.
100%, and he didn't know where his player was. And New Jersey, see if they can capitalize with a longer run. Alou with the dig, it goes over on one. From the back row, Langlois, Alou leaps. And a back row attack from Capp. Grasso again cross court and catches Alou.
Well, some very interesting and entertaining matchups already, Ira, as Grasso blocking against Elias, the setter for Freedom. That's advantage to the Tyrants, and previously, like we talked about, Jacobs going against Joe Norman on the left side of the net. So very interesting dynamics here in this matchup so far.
So here's Grasso, serving for the first time today. Capp handcuffed by that one, and this will be pulled off the court. High free ball. New Jersey set up in time, but can't as Mounty puts it away.
Well, I think a huge advantage for the Tyrants will be their middle attackers, as Elias utilizes Seifert quite a bit offensively. I think the Tyrants' middles of Mounty and Lovett might just be too much offensive threat for the Freedom to deal with.
Grasso trying to tie it up here. 6-5, New Jersey on top. Norman is there to pick it up. Good set there to Dr. Doug. And a useful spot by Jake Langlois, poking it where nobody is.
Wow, Jake Langlois. Sometimes it helps to be 6'10", showing his ambidextrousness, Ira, as he goes up with the left-handed open hand tip back to the corner for the winner.
Helps to be 6'10", except when you're trying to squeeze underneath door frames or squeeze into these low hotel beds that we sleep in. They go outside to Langlois, but Capp was there. Ferder down the line with authority.
Ferder with a nice swing in transition, going one-on-one against Quinones, and Ferder hammers that one down the line for the point.
By the way, I'd just like to point out for those who are not looking at the chat on the YouTube version of this broadcast that a number of the New Jersey players who were not able to make the trip today are all participating in the chat if you'd like to talk with them. John Cunningham, who's often in the starting libero spot. Matt Buffum and Jacob Nonazik. So we got some good representation from the New Jersey faithful that isn't spending Memorial Day weekend with us out here on the West Coast.
That's another service error from the Tyrants middles. So they're 0 for 2 with their service attempts and giving Freedom that 1-point advantage now.
Here's Dr. Doug serving for New Jersey, and he leaves it short. So we are even now at 8-8, and here's Gabo Quinones. Another service error. Yeah. Texas struggling early, Matt.
Back-to-back service errors from the Tyrants. That's a little frustrating if you're Coach Grasso over there, pacing the sidelines.
So back to our original starter. Here is Elias. Langlois cross-court. Elias runs it down. Alou. And Ian Capp does a great job of tooling the block of Lovett and Langlois.
Ian Capp showing the skill that you have to develop if you're an undersized outside hitter going up against a 6'10" and 6'8" block. That time Capp going off of Jake's arms and out of bounds for the point.
And again, Ian Capp was a setter in college, and he's playing outside professionally. And it goes back to all his playing on the grass, actually, as this is a blocking error against Texas. Will be a point for New Jersey. That's really where Capp has taking his offensive game to the next level, is on the grass circuits in this country.
Typically, you can tell a grass player based off of their tan lines. Ian Capp doing a nice job. Must be playing a little more in tank tops out there on the grass circuit.
Love it with a big swing there. Is that how you can tell from tan lines?
Mostly just Ian Capp. He's got the best, had the best farmer tan line in the league up until today.
Yeah, he must have been out in the sun yesterday. It's starting to even out. They go to Seifert, block back. Norman collects it off the net. Here's Capp. And a block for Grasso. One-on-one.
A very nice block by Grasso that time blocking it back into Capp and then bouncing into the antenna and out of bounds.
You had to wait a second to see if Capp was going to be able to save that. Grasso closing down the pin. Well played, the Tyrants. Staying with this, but now the return fire. Capp puts one in the floor.
Wow. One of those back-to-back opportunities for Capp. Went line the first time. Grasso thought he was going to go angle, and so dove back in and just missed that attack that time.
And Capp, a native of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Former multiple-time All-American at Kean University, New Jersey, and he uncorks the ace.
Again, targeting Pearson, Andrew Pearson, the libero for the Tyrants, realizing that that's not his best role, but the position he's playing for the day, and this is going to be a problem for the Tyrants all match long, I think.
Capp's been a problem for people behind the service line for a couple of years now. Grasso buries one.
What a fun matchup. Now Grasso going up against Joe Norman and Matt Seifert, two 6'10" blockers. Grasso not afraid. He's been playing against bigger blockers his entire life, whether it was at USC or in Puerto Rico or wherever he's been playing professionally, and that time he's able to go around the block of Joe Norman.
Either you go around it, over it, or through it. Those are your options, and certainly is a pretty good approach as Norman swings and sticks it right past Langlois, who got frozen. Jake's been passing so well this year. For a guy his size, he's among the league's leader in digs. And you have a player of that experience and that size able to pass that well. Not going to get too many past him.
Yeah.
Here's Matt Seifert. And another libero issue. Grasso left it short, but the Tyrants, they're going to have to figure this out because they're not going to have a chance to stay in this match if they can't get some contributions from Pearson. Question, if it's not Pearson, who do you turn to? The bench is short right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tricky situation for the Tyrants. You might need to see a four-man pass reception.
Free ball chance for New Jersey. Capp with nice setting hands, and this one will go into the crowd. Tim Ferrier, and New Jersey leading 16-11. They're on a 5-point run, takes us to our technical timeout. We'll be back for more New Jersey leading in game one. And we're back here courtside, Ira Thor, alongside Matt Prosser. And Matt's got a busy day calling 3 matches and then coaching in the 4th one today. So I hope you've had some coffee.
All in a day's work, Ira.
It's a lot of work for one day. It's a holiday weekend. Seifert clips the net on the serve. Grasso swinging down the line and gets the touch on Joe Norman.
Well, we're talking about the matchups, and Joe Norman, as long and as big as he is, doesn't have to go high against Grasso. Just has to get his hands over the net, try to cut off the angles.
Block back, Zema collects it. Norman's going to free ball this one out of bounds.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if this man for the Tyrants, server Daniel Jacobs, necessary if he could in fact play libero. And you know, they have Tim Johnson on the bench, the other backup opposite hitter that could possibly step in that position to hit.
Wow,
and Ryan
big
Mounty.
stuff, Ryan Mounty. shuts down Doug Zemma. And here's future libero Jacobs to serve. This time they go to Ferreter, gets a couple of touches and a New Jersey side out after the Tyrants had scored 3 in a row to get right back in this game. Now 17-14. And we're going to see the double substitution here as Anderson will come in, as will Tim Johnson.
Now, this is a strategy we see the Tyrants rely on week after week here in the NVA as they utilize this double sub system.
And an ace for Norman. So Norman pushes the lead back to 4. Second ace for New Jersey in this set. And a third, as Norman goes right after Pearson and uncorks another ace.
Back-to-back aces by Big Joe Norman, doubling down on that high toss and getting after it from the inline. Service pressure from Freedom has been on point so far. To be
fair to Pearson, as the Tyrants called timeout, I'm not sure there's too many players in the league who could have passed that rocket.
That was a good one. And Joe Norman showing off that his serve has gotten a little bit stronger. Sometimes it eludes him throughout matches, but so far he's been good.
Well, during this break in the action, in a moment we're going to have a chance to hear from our fourth man, but it'll be interesting to see how Mauro Grasso settles down his team. He's having a chat on the sideline with Andrew Pearson right now. Here's Noah Chas with a word from the sideline.
Ira, and Coach Grasso was having another chat with Pearson earlier, and he seemed to try and instill confidence in him. But then he also told his team, you know, maybe shrink the court or share the court a little bit to take less space from Pearson and make the Freedom be a little bit more accurate when targeting him. And it seems like Joe Norman and the Freedom are accepting the challenge and serving it right at him every time. Ira?
In time, so my bad. Early in the day. And Tim Johnson, first chance to swing today. He can be inconsistent at times, but Matt, he's one of those players when he's on can certainly put the team on his back.
Yeah, Tim Johnson is so dynamic. The kid can fly. He jumps so high, opens up a lot of angles that will be very challenging for Freedom to block, and I would like to see a little bit more of Tim Johnson on the court for the Tyrants today.
What you didn't hear me say, because I'm a dope and I was pressing my mute button as Norman puts it away. During the side out, head coach Mauro Grasso was having most of the conversation with Andrew Pearson, trying to settle him down and try to get whatever is going on out of his head because they need him right now unless they make that change that you were mentioning. It could be obviously their best option going forward. And another ace from New Jersey, and this time it's Tim Ferreter getting in on the action.
Well, credit to the Freedom coaching staff to go after Pearson to start and then throwing it out and going to the corners against Grasso and Langlois for some aces.
Right down the line, that is the 4th ace for New Jersey in this first set alone. And, well, they haven't been tested yet, but they are going to be today. And so far, you know, they showing flowers.
Well, for the Tyrants, it's not that they're playing bad volleyball. It's just that they're not able to pass the ball in system well enough to run an offense through the middle of the court. They haven't really gotten Jake Langlois activated through the back row on that big attack. And Freedom, give credit to them. They're doing everything right from the service line and putting all the pressure on the undefeated Tyrants so far.
And it all comes down to that passing. They haven't had one back row attempt the entire set so far. And you're not going to get those except in trouble situations if you can't get your passing game situated. Ferreter, another ball that's going to fall off the court there. Johnson swings away. They go to Ian Capp. It's going to clip off one of the supports on the ceiling. Not an easy ball to play with. Oh, reach out and stuff someone. Zema leaping to the rafters.
I don't know if I've ever seen such a straight down stuff block on a set over coming from the opponent. Zema getting way over the net for that one.
Dr. Doug schooling the Tyrants, and they lead 22-15. And this is going to be smashed down by Elias on a free ball that might have been going out of bounds. So it was a little risky to even swing at, but not too often if you're the setter, you get to smack bombs.
Elias wants to take the ace off the stat category and give himself a kill on the overpass.
Here's Ferreter. Get him a little closer. Anderson can't save it. Another ace for Ferreter, and New Jersey now running away with this first set. They have 9 set points. And they have pulled their libero Pearson on set point. Here's Ferreter. And it doesn't matter. Another ace for New Jersey as they close out a dominant first set. And they win 25-15. The Tyrants got to figure this out or they're going to get swept today at this rate. That's going to send us to a break. We'll come back to see if the Tyrants have a bounce back for them in Game 2 when we return to San Bernardino. And we're back courtside here as the Tyrants are going to need to figure some things out after the New Jersey Freedom unleashed 6 aces in Game 1. I'll tell you what, maybe I was putting a little too much on the Jose Malero absence, but we're seeing in Game 1 exactly him not being out there, the difference.
Well, yeah, we are seeing that impact that you spoke about lots before this match started, Ira, and also this morning if you did catch the pregame show. Yeah, the Tyrants are in a little bit of a trouble. However, this is a bit of their MO where they start out very, very slow in set number 1. Did it against the Stunners in event number 2 and also the Ramblers as well in event number 2. And the Tyrants are a very good volleyball team. A bit of a slow start as usual, so still a ways to go as Freedom has the advantage now with that 1-0 lead here, but I expect to see the Tyrants make some adjustments and put up a pretty decent fight.
The difference here being that they've lost those first sets with Molero out there as an option.
Correct.
To pass them back into some kind of consistency.
Yeah.
They don't have that right now. And you have a situation where you have 2 of your veteran coaches in the league.
Yeah.
Carlo Edwards not really a well-known coach, but he's a multiple-time Coach of the Year winner in Division III men's volleyball in New Jersey and on the club circuit. So he knows how to get his guys into these situations, take advantage of any weakness on the court, and we saw that in Game 1. As we are off here in Game 2, and Norman starts off and gets a touch. That is called on the court, and I think the Tyrants may challenge that. And they will. They're immediately going to challenge this. And I think Cenk Langlois is persuading his coach into a non-touch call as they have a conversation here courtside.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because from our angle, Ira, I didn't see a touch on the block, but I thought I saw the ball hit the corner in, right? Now, the call from the official crew was that there was a touch on the block. And if we see a challenge, it's going to be the challenge of that the Tyrants did not touch it, right?
But then can New Jersey can re-challenge that it was in? It could be the challenge within the challenge. I agree with you. I saw the same thing. I saw the ball being in.
Yes.
This is even if there's not a challenge, this is a long delay in the action. And we'll see what they're going to do. And looks like our official says the ball may have been in anyway, as he was pointing down to the court. But they're going to challenge this, so.
Okay, so confirmed that the original call was a touch on the block, and the challenge is, in fact, that there was no touch on the block. However, the line judge, I believe, is communicating to the first official that his call was in bounds.
Which is what you said.
Which is what we both agreed upon.
And ultimately, New Jersey wins this game of challenge chess, we want to call it. It's a new sport. So the ball will go over to Elias. And the question is, does this count as a challenge against the Tyrants? They have not used one yet.
So it is confirmed that the ball did, in fact, land in, basically then negating that touch call. And we're just trying to clarify whether or not the Tyrants still have a challenge to use since they didn't get to use that one on that play. So because the ball was called in bounds, that resulted in a no challenge necessary.
And that's set too high as Lovett can't keep it in play. New Jersey off to a quick 2-0 lead. And Matt Buffum in the chat has confirmed that the Farmers Tan for Ian Capp will return after the next scheduled grass tournament. So those who, that is left short by Elias. Those who are monitoring Capp's tan situation have to wait until our Father's Day event. That's our 4th event of the regular season. 17th, 18th, and 19th of June. Right back here at the Pierce Sports Center. Pearson couldn't handle it. Langlois trying to run it down like a soccer player, could not, and another side out for New Jersey. So here is spray tan sponsor Ian Capp as he leaves it short. He's trying to make Ian a little money there. Austin Lovett will now serve. 3-2 New Jersey. And Capp, the most talked about tan or non-tan since a former president. Norman, a little tight, had the poke at it, blocked back. They go back to Norman. Langlois lays out for the dig. Here's Grasso. Elias runs down Capp, goes to Norman, and he sticks it in the back corner.
Nicely placed shot that time from Joe Norman, not relying on the full strength, but takes it down a couple of notches and just places it nicely right along the inline for that point.
These guys play so well together, New Jersey does. And you're starting to see just the cohesiveness of this group. Probably one of the, I mean, they're obviously really good anyway, being a 4-0, but in terms of just overall meshing of a team, I think New Jersey does it as well as anybody. As that is planted down the line by Jacobs.
Totally agree with you, Ira. These guys all know each other really well. They're great teammates. They work well together and all in pursuit of that common goal.
Here is Jacobs. Now come over on one, right to Grasso. They go, it was off. They were looking for a back row to Langlois. He had to swing from the ground, and Capp, though, cannot capitalize. New Jersey hit 58% as a team in game one. Tyrants not terrible at 48%, but obviously the big difference, those 6 aces. They go to Tim Ferreter, who lands another kill.
Ferreter showing off some of his own power from the left side for freedom, that time catching Jake Langlois up high as it ricocheted off the block.
And New Jersey's done a good job so far moving the ball around. Ferreter, Capp, and Joe Norman all with 4 kills apiece. They haven't got the middles involved yet, particularly Seifert, so I want to see that change as this match goes on. And that is blocked back by Capp and Elias. The setter and the former setter stuffing Grasso's second block for New Jersey here.
Elias doing a nice job with his hands, getting that block on Grasso.
As Joe Norman already got a couple of aces. They go back to Grasso, and he catches a loop cross court. Nice angle by Gianluca.
Gianluca, so much power in that arm, so quick and dynamic.
So here is Gianluca Grasso. This team trailing by 1. And does not get a friendly bounce.
It's a fine line on that service pressure from the inline. Give yourself that good toss, go for it 100%, or do you dial it down a little bit, try to keep it in play, especially when you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard like the Tyrants are.
Tim Ferreter trying to work on his 3 aces. They go to Langlois, and he sticks it through the block.
Zema made a nice move that time, just didn't get his hands over the net. Results in that Langlois attack finding the floor for a point.
Only the second kill for Langlois. And here's Ryan Mounty to serve. And Doug Zema puts one away, that chance to run the middle. So side out to New Jersey. Here is Dr. Doug. Seifert back in. Here's Langlois with the power throw. That's blocked back, run down by Quiones. Langlois swinging away again. They go to Capp, and I don't think that ever went over.
I don't think that one went over either, but a well-played rally from the Tyrants side to extend that one, as that Jake Langlois power tip shot that he utilizes quite a bit gets blocked back but covered nicely. And credit to Joe Norman on the dig down the line, but Tyrants scoring that time.
Here's Gabo Quiones. Seifert Misfires.
Nearly got the line judge in the corner to go in, but perhaps that set just a ball width too low for the 6'10" middle attacker, Matt Seifert.
Teams are tied 8-8. It was this close in game one as well before New Jersey started to pull away. Norman gets stuffed one-on-one by Jake from Texas.
A very nice move by Langlois to show angle and then dive back to the line.
Seifert nearly got handcuffed there. Can Capp capitalize? He does with the touch.
Ian Capp, nice awareness and vision going after the hands of Daniel Jacobs, the right side blocker that time. Taking advantage of it and scoring the point for Freedom.
So Matt Elias has done a great job quarterbacking this offense. He even has a kill, which is really just a stolen ace. And Jacobs with an answer here for the Tyrants as they side out. They lead now 10-9. And here's Langlois. And an ace for Jake.
A little bit back to it as Langlois finally gets the Tyrants there. Service ace after giving up so many of them early on in this match.
First time that Tyrants will be able to handcuff New Jersey in this match. That will come over on one, but it won't matter. A blocking error on Lovett. So credit the Seifert smash.
Wow, that's unfortunate. That one stings a little bit if you're Austin Lovett. As Quinones gets a nice dig and extends the rally, but Lovett ended up touching the net on that block.
Langlois had 16 kills his last time out in that big 3-2 victory over Las Vegas. And a back row attack violation here on the Tyrants. Point to New Jersey. That was an epic match. If you missed it, go back and watch it on our archive on the NVA YouTube. Tyrants in a match that could have gone either way. Held off Las Vegas back on May 7th. The fifth set went 24-22. Remember, you only need to play to 15 in a fifth set. 24-22. Neither team refused to lose. There was a incredibly important replay challenge in the fifth set that, well, prevented Las Vegas from winning as it went over to the Tyrants. Again, don't take my word for it. Go back. If you just watch one set, go back and watch the fifth. Laying out for that one is Lovett. Mountie tips it over. They go to Ferreter. Was there a touch? Official says no. And the lead is 13-11 Texas.
Ferreter looking for those hands again on the cross court swing that time, but just couldn't find the blocking fingertips of Ryan Mountie. And the Tyrants get that point off of that hitting error.
Here's Lovett. And he left it short.
The Tyrants have put up a good response after losing set number one. However, if I could tell them to do anything, they got to make their serves a little bit more. A few too many service errors from Austin Lovett and a few other guys from the Tyrants side, especially the float serves into the net.
Here's Matt Seifert. Good pass by Langlois. They go to Jacobs, and that's blocked back. Langlois was there. Grasso, another block back. Third chance. They go Grasso again, and he gets stuffed down. Collected, however, by the Tyrants. Fourth chance is tipped wide. However, line judge says there was a touch. And the Tyrants survived that point. And they lead 14-12, otherwise we're even at 13.
Quality coverage game there from the Tyrants, giving themselves more opportunities to score that point.
A significantly better job by Andrew Pearson in the second set. Pearson, we praised him and look what he does. as Doug Zemma with the kill. That ball just came into the table. My God, it's gross. It's disgusting.
Get this man a wipe real quick.
There's like goop on that ball.
Guys are working hard, Ira. It's called sweat.
It is called sweat. We don't sweat too much over here in the booth. I sweat yesterday a couple times. Hiking to the top of Cathedral Rock Trail in Sedona, Arizona in 97-degree heat.
Ira's adventures yesterday on his way out here to San Bernardino, California.
I always fly out a day early because there's been so many cancellations and delays, and I don't want to be in the situation where my flight's canceled and I don't have time to get out here. So I always fly out a day early, and if I'm going to fly out early, I'm going to try to do something with my time other than just sit on the beach. So I flew into Phoenix and went hiking in Sedona, and that was hard.
It was hard.
My quads are killing me today.
You know what they say? You're going to be more sore the day after the day after.
Oh, so tomorrow I'm going to be crying. All right, I'm going to... Well, since Mauro Grasso no longer needs his crutches from his injury, I may borrow them tomorrow. He's looking better, and so are the Tyrants as they lead 16-14 here in Game 2, trying to tie this matchup. Tactical timeout. We'll be back for more. And we're back here after the timeout. And a useful spot there. You see the arm angle from Jake Langlois disguises it so well.
He really does, and Jake has so much range. He's so long, his arms literally over a 7-foot long wingspan for a 6'10" player.
There you see Mauro Grasso, head coach for the Tyrants. Now, he has a leg injury, and last event he was on crutches much of the event, and that's very difficult to do when one of those contests goes 5 sets like they did against the Las Vegas Ramblers. But he's moving around a little bit better this week, but we do understand that he's still having some issues, so we wish Coach Grasso a speedy recovery. Jersey down 2. They will hand it to Zemma. Better pass from Pearson. Here's Langlois, and that will fall in front of the diving Doug.
Once again, Tyrants doing a nice job responding, utilizing the length of Jake Langlois that we didn't see a lot of in set number 1. And now in set 2, he's helped his team get that 3-point advantage here halfway through the set.
Yeah, Langlois was basically invisible in that first set. Only had 1 kill on 5 total attacks. They go to Norman. Pearson gets a pancake and they send it over to extend. This time they go to Capp, tries to punch it off the block, and he gets it. You could tell Capp's beach and grass game, particularly the grass games, coming in to play here because that ball was a little low. Was able to kind of punch at it almost like a little bit like a boxer to be able to knock it off the fingertips.
Oh, like a swipe or a wipe off the block. Sees the hands, changes his attack line, and then utilizes that extra pair of hands to hit the ball out of bounds.
It's like a little jab on the ball. As that is smashed over, it's going to go out of play for a kill for Daniel Jacobs.
Daniel Jacobs releasing a little frustration on that one, too. That had a little extra pop to it as Freedom wasn't able to control it.
None of these teams have lost this year. Somebody will taste defeat for the first time today. New Jersey was dominant in that first set. Ian Capp with a crucial side out to keep New Jersey within 2. And here's Ian Capp to serve. Langlois with the pass. Texas trying to capitalize, and Grosso buries it. And a 20-17 lead for the Tyrants. We're going to send it over to our man on the sideline, Noah Chast, with some news on the Freedom.
Well, outside of that last play, which was just total detonation, the Freedom feels like they're still controlling this match. They're just making too many errors. They're ending their own rallies, and they're giving the Tyrants a chance to crawl back in. They want to establish their presence in the middle and just clean up the way they're playing and keep the dominance and the control on their side of the court.
Thanks, Noah. Langlois swinging from the back row and dropping bombs. And the Tyrants have found the answer here in the second set. They lead by 4. And New Jersey gonna have to call timeout for the first time today. The first time we've seen some long faces from the New Jersey sideline. Matt, you talked about how this is typical Texas volleyball, where they start slow and find answers after they get past that first set.
Right.
That was in doubt, though, based on the way they were dominated in the first game.
Well, you know, one of the things about volleyball players is that they have to have a short-term memory, especially after getting pretty much cleaned up very handily in set number 1. Really, you just come back, you reset yourself, you get your team together, say, okay, that was a little bit of a fluke, 25-15 set number 1. That's a pretty big beating in the NVA or wherever you're going to play volleyball. And so the beautiful thing about it is that the scoreboard went back to 0-0, and the Tyrants have done a nice job rebounding and responding from that set 1 beatdown that we talked about, 25-15.
Well, the short-term memory has given them a 4-point lead, a chance to tie this at 1-1. I always have a short-term memory. It's why I got to write things down.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I got a task app on my phone on the first page. Over on 1, and capitalization by Ryan Mounty. Now, the question is, if New Jersey continues to struggle, do we see the debut of former Colombian national team member Danny Vajegas, who we talked about both in the open and also in our pregame show today?
It's not that Freedom are playing poorly or people are making errors. It's just that the Tyrants have upped their level, and Jake Langlois has taken over this set along with Grosso.
Here's Norman with the double touch for the kill. That was kill number 7 for Norman. Here's Matt Seifert to serve. You go to Jacobs, and he sticks that through the block at a really difficult angle. I'm amazed that he was able to get that through Ferreter and Zema.
Yeah, that was definitely not advantage to Daniel Jacobs, but he's able to clean it up and get that point.
And here's Jacobs to serve, 23-18. And Jacobs leaves that one short. So a momentary reprieve here for New Jersey. Daniel Jacobs, a Burbank, California native. Joe Norman will now swing. The right side. Won a national championship at SUNY New Paltz in upstate New York. And he misses just long, and this will give the Tyrants leading 24-19, 5 set points to work with. They go to Ferreter. Grosso is there to close the set. Grosso from the back row, dropping the dynamite, And the Tyrants win game 2, 25-19. We're all square at 1 set apiece. Well, Noah Chest is on the sideline. He's going to tell you about a story he's been working on.
Yeah, that's right, Ira. And a name you've called and you will be calling throughout this match is Ian Capp. I had a chance to sit down with him and discuss his volleyball background, and while he's not the biggest guy out there, he likes to play as the smarter and mentally stronger volleyball player on the court.
Of course, the Sasquatch back on their heels. They go down the line, and there's that man, Ian Capp.
Ian Capp is used to making an impact on the court and believes his New Jersey Freedom has a real shot at the NVA Cup.
We have the capability to take the chip this year.
Ian, a self-described ultimate team player, will do whatever it takes to help his team win.
Ian Capp with his back to the net.
Originally recruited as a libero at Kane University, he went on to be an All-American setter and right side hitter.
And now I'm playing outside for Team Freedom, which is the first time I've played outside in a competitive setting ever.
The Freedom outside is among the top NVA players in kills and attack points, something he doesn't take lightly.
Honestly, people that I've seen growing up watching the game as I was at college. So it's really cool to see now that I can compete at this level.
Ian's been working at this level for a while, starting volleyball when he was just 8 years old, trying to keep up with his 14-year-old brother. Once he found his stride, he moved on from sports like soccer and tennis to work on his craft year-round.
I haven't stopped. I don't think I've had more than a 6-month break from volleyball since I was 8 years old.
While a star on the hardwood, Ian feels he's at his best with the sun in his face and grass stains on his shirt.
I like to think that my outdoor game, especially on the grass, is a little bit more fine-tuned.
Holy smokes, Ian Capp.
But inside or outside, he has one goal.
So I wanted to always be better than everyone. That's my competitive drive. My motivation is I just want to be the best.
At just 6 feet tall, 5'11" when he's feeling modest, being the best in a sport full of giants isn't easy. But Capp embraces the challenge.
Whenever I see someone bigger than me.
Oh, that one came over and Ian Capp flexing like the Hulk.
I kind of take it as, oh, you're just big. I'm going to try and play smarter or stronger. Maybe not physically, but just a stronger game all around.
You've proven your worth collegiately. You've for sure proven your worth on the grass. What do you want to prove to really, the volleyball world at a national level, the rest of these events with the NVA?
For me personally, I think it's just showing that little guys can ball. Just shows that you can do anything at any height. And that goes for guys at our level, at the national level that we are, or even the young guys that are just starting out. I think playing smarter is the way to go in general.
And playing smarter is something that Ian and the Freedom are going to have to do if they want to pull out this match. Playing their toughest opponent so far in the Texas Tyrants, a big, intelligent, and powerful team. So we'll see if Ian can kind of share that brain power when he's on the court and lead his team to victory against the Tyrants. Matt, Ira?
Noah, thank you for that. Great work by you. Great story as well. I've been following Ian Capp's collegiate career for a long time. Obviously, most of us being located in New Jersey. So it was nice to see where he's come from and what he's been able to become as a professional. Just a well-rounded player, able to do so much out there. Again, he can still set. You know, he might be one of the better setters in the NVA if he had the ball in his hands, but he doesn't need to, and allows his talents to be used elsewhere. As we begin game number 3, and we start with an Austin Lovett kill. And we're courtside here at the Pierce Sports Center, San Bernardino. This is our second of 4 matches today. The next one will be a good one as well. Nick and Matt will be on the call for that one. It'll be the Las Vegas Ramblers returning to the court for the first time since that 24-22 heartbreak as they take on the upstart 3-1 LA Blaze as Ian Capp puts another one on the floor.
Yeah, right on cue, Ian Capp. And Noah Jas, great work on that little feature piece on Ian Capp. Always nice to see a little bit of what makes some of these guys tick. And Ian Capp showing he's not afraid of Jake Langlois' block either.
Capp misses that one wide. I'm Ira Thor. He's Matt Prosser. Nick England, the fourth member of this crew, has the match off because, you know, we got 12 matches. Got to pace ourselves over a long weekend of volleyball. It's dug up there by Keonis. Jacobs laying out for that one was Elias. Capp swinging away. And it's going to be a carry on New Jersey. Credit the block. Love it was there. And Jake Langlois and company lead 3-1. Who was the one who picked the Tyrants in our pregame? That was you, wasn't it?
That was me.
Oh, you have a chance to time me for first place then.
Big match.
None of our other picks today were not unanimous. All three of us picked the Stingers to win the first match. They won in 4. We've all picked the Ramblers to win. We've all picked the Stunners to win because we fear the wrath of Coach Matt Prosser. Oh, and Matt Seifert for the first time able to put one away. And it's 4-1. Correction, 4-2 now, as Seifert will serve. Yeah, but New Jersey's got a light bench themselves this weekend. The only players on the bench are big 7-foot middle Paul Bolanzik. And, of course, Danny Venegas, who we talked about, may make his debut this weekend. For both teams, rather short rosters for this Memorial Day weekend, third event of the season. Here's Jacob swinging away. He gets blocked, but it goes out of bounds as he tools it well. And we see the Tyrants. They really have shaken off that dust in game 1 nicely. They lead by 3.
Yeah, and Team Freedom did such a good job of exposing the libero, Pearson, for the Tyrants, and I feel like ever since set number 1, we've hardly said Pearson's name, Ira.
When you don't say the libero's name, as that is way long, that's either really, really good or really, really bad. If we're not saying his name, that means he's not involved, or he's doing his job so well, like Jose Molero usually does, that he blends into the entire picture of what's happening. And that's traditionally, with this Tyrant squad, what it is. Jose is like that gnat that defensively you can't avoid. You're always trying to swing at, and he does it so well that we never even have to acknowledge him. And you feel bad because the offensive players get throughout the sport, collegiate level on, they get all the love.
They get
all
the point
praise.
scoring on the statistical sheet and all those things that really results in the scoreboard being played, but liberos are responsible for a lot of actions that don't result in points in their statistic roster, but they are such a key part of this game.
Yeah. The Chicks dig the long ball approach. Obviously, it does carry over to volleyball where you like to see the big smashes, but you don't have a quality lid back there in today's game able to control that tempo. Your big guns never get a chance to even operate.
No, you're absolutely correct, Ira.
Langlois, so well tooling the block. I don't even think he had to jump.
He barely did jump because he didn't get an approach. He was standing at the 10-foot line. Quignoni is still set in the bick. And Jake is able, with his length and size, to get that ball off the block and defender and out of bounds.
And New Jersey has to call a quick timeout as they find themselves down 8-3 after losing game number 2, 25-19. So really the first time this season that New Jersey has faced adversity here. They're 4-0, and they've, believe, swept 3 of those 4 matches, Matt. So, for them, if they're going to be a title contender this year, and they believe they are, this is a match they need to find some answers. How do you answer back when you have a lead and then suddenly your back is against the wall?
Well, a big part of it is that response. How does you and your team respond to coming out and losing set number 2, 25-18, after taking very handily set number 1? And so far, the Tyrants have been able to carry over from set 2 and pick up right where they left off. Meanwhile, Freedom kind of spiraling, and they have to find some offense here.
Last time out for New Jersey, they swept the upstart Dallas Tornadoes. And that is stuffed down. Mounty and Grosso teaming up to shut down Big Joe Norman.
right now, just all the fire has been put out on the Freedom side. It's a nice block by Ryan Mounty on Joe Norman as the Tyrants continue to carry that momentum.
Here's Jacobs. That's going to be an ace on Capp, and he knew that was going out. You can see the reaction in his face immediately.
Daniel Jacobs with some good power on that serve. Capp maybe a little indecisive, tried to pass that with his hands above his head, was most likely going to be out of bounds.
I mean, you can make an argument that Jacobs has been the most important player out there for the Tyrants in this match as Tim Ferreter finds an answer. Jacobs has served well, he's passed well, he's been able to get involved with the blocking game.
Yeah,
and he hasn't made mistakes offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Freedom needed that side out big time as now they're only down by 6, but still early on in set number 3. But for right now, Freedom really struggling to find that fire, momentum, and identity here that they had so well in game number 1.
And left that one short to Tim Ferreter, the former Stevens standout.
Well, it's not that the serve went into the net, but really he wasn't even targeting Pearson as that service error was most likely going to be going towards Grasso in serve reception.
Here's Grasso to serve. Alou lays out. That goes over on 1. From the back row, Grasso. And he misses long. First time that John Lucas had a chance to swing at a 10 ball today and misfires badly. Luca had 8 kills through the first 2 sets. He was matched with Joe Norman for the match high. Langlois blocked back, run down by Pearson. And then you see the outcome as New Jersey gets the side out, and they've cut this to a 5-point deficit, 11-6. Here's Dr. Doug. And so, that's going to be an ace against Pearson. Mounty was caught flat-footed and tried to one-hand it back, but they could not save that, and that is the 7th ace for New Jersey. First for Doug Zemma. He's the 4th different New Jersey player with an ace so far. Zemma again. Langlois gets blocked, but Pearson's there. Norman with the pass. Elias goes to Capp, and Langlois read it well. They go back to Langlois, and he smashes it down.
Zemma made a nice play on defense there. Not too sure why Joe Norman didn't get on the ground for his teammate to play that one, but ball was still alive, and the change of direction just wasn't there.
I think Norman got caught flat-footed there, and you saw Zemma playfully yell at his teammate, then give him a hug. Norman swinging away. I mean, Norman doesn't have a good back. That is well documented. Elias digs it off the net, and Capp just barely misses it, keeping it in play. 13-7.
I like that play from Elias. Just a bit of bad luck for the setter from Freedom. However, everything going Tyrants' way once again here in set number 3.
And we talked about Norman, a bad back. He's been battling it for years, so difficult for him to get on the ground sometimes in those situations too. And Mounty, his team continues to add to this lead. This might be my punishment for picking against the Tyrants for the first time all year. I've been riding that train since it left the station. Ooh. Norman gets the kill for New Jersey for a much needed side out.
I thought the Tyrants were going to get a little help from the ceiling on that one as the ball went high enough but just missed some of the steel support beams here in the Pierce Sports Complex.
Both these teams will play again tomorrow, and then they will have Memorial Day off. As Austin Lovett with another kill. New Jersey tomorrow will take on the Utah Stingers, who picked up a 3-1 victory this morning against the Inland Empire Matadors. Those Matadors will then tomorrow at noon take on Texas. Oh, and Max Seifert igniting. When we get Seifert involved, he can absolutely change the complexion of this offense. Can Elias feed the former Penn State standout? Here's Capp to serve. And he left it short. And the lead swells back to 7 for the Tyrants. They led from the onset 8-2, and New Jersey's been trying to play catch up ever since. Back set to Norman. Langlois is there. Jacobs. And it clips the antenna for a New Jersey side out.
Well, Jacobs wants that opportunity back for sure. Nice set from Quinones in transition. Jacobs trying to avoid the Ferreter block and just finding the antenna instead.
And Austin Lovett. You see his fire.
Quinones with the standing quick set, not something you see very often in today's game, and basically just puts that ball up on a tee for Austin Lovett to absolutely smash to the floor.
So here's Austin Lovett. Norman squeezes it between Quinones and Jacobs for the side out, but New Jersey keeps trading points. Can't do that, Matt. Need to string a few together here if they're going to rally in this third set.
Yeah, you're right, Ira. At this point of the game, with the score the way that it is, Freedom cannot just go back and forth and side out. They have to create some points. Get some service pressure from the inline right here from Joe Norman, maybe.
That might have been going out. Pearson played it. Run down by Quinones. Alou cannot maintain it. And a side out for Texas.
Yeah, I got to applaud the effort by Ryan Alou that time. Trying to get that ball up. Couldn't bring it back to the court. And a nice side out from the Tyrants.
Almost dove into the restroom. He went so far off the court. Here's Ferreter, blocked back, Capp with the touch. Ferreter again. And Grasso lays out, could not save it. Great effort by Gianluca. Side out over to New Jersey. Gianluca gets a pat on the back of his head from his father, Moro.
Very fatherly thing to do there. Nice effort to his son. Just a little bit short on that play.
I can't do that with my son anymore, though, because he's now 6'4", 6'5". I can't reach that high.
What's it like looking up to your son so much?
It happened very fast. Between sophomore and senior year, all of a sudden, went from 5'10" to 6'5", and I went from being the tallest person in the house to second fiddle yet again. Oh, and Grasso turned away from the court for a second. He thought he had the kill. And most times he will. But New Jersey got a couple ping pong touches on it and was able to get the point.
Yeah, it's one of those moments of the match where Grasso likes to run that inside, sort of an X1, that's what we used to call it back in the day. That time, Freedom was ready for it, got a little fortuitous bounce on their side, and Grasso ends up in the net, thinking that he had gotten the point.
Play through the whistle. Here's Ferreter, I should say. As misses long, and Tyrants get it right back. So Grasso to serve, trying to push his team to the 20-point mark as they look to bounce back from an awful game one to dominate 2 consecutive sets. Elias lays out for that one. Langlois with the dig. Langlois swinging away, and he tools the block.
Now that was all set up from that absolute rocket of a jump serve from Grasso that barely made it over the tape. Took Freedom out of system from the get-go, and Jake Langlois scores that point in transition.
Grasso's got 10 kills and a pair of aces so far. and his team with a commanding lead. They go to Capp, and he buries it.
Yeah, one-on-one situation. Capp going up against Quinones that time, and I don't think Quinones knew that he was by himself. He went to the line, and Capp took advantage of that cross-court angle for the winner.
Majority of those one-on-one matchups, Ian Capp, so experienced, will know how to beat somebody. This one too long, though, by Dr. Doug. And side out Ryan Mounty will serve a 7-point lead for the team from the Lone Star State. Capp swinging away, run down by Jacobs. Back set to Norman. And miscommunication there between Lovett and Grosso. And the point goes to New Jersey as that is sent long. I thought Lovett was going to try to set that. Grosso tried to attack it from the back row.
Yeah.
Not too often that you'll see miscommunication from that side of the court. Another team like New Jersey that is so well meshed.
Well, Grasso's so dynamic. He wanted to attack that ball, but he was called on a back row violation. But nice to see what they were trying to do there.
That is dug over after the attack by Lovett. Langlois, oh, and an impossible angle.
My goodness, Jake Langlois. That is an angle that you do not see very often as he went inside the block, over to area 4 on the sideline, but about 4 feet inside the 10-foot line. That was a swing of the match right there for sure, Ira.
Oh, absolutely. If we were picking our highlight of the match, that right there is your choice. And that helps the Tyrants build a 7-point lead, 22-15. Capp with another answer, but for New Jersey, again, I said it earlier in this set, they got to string a few of these together.
It's not that they're playing bad volleyball, like you keep saying, Ira. They do just have to go on their own little run here, which they haven't done since set number 1.
Not going to be a team like this trading points. Just not going to work. As Capp leaves it short again. Another service error, and Capp frustrated. Langlois will serve. Langlois. And we talked about Grasso's contributions today. Langlois has 9 kills. He's 1 away from double figures. And New Jersey's into the net. Cypher with the violation. Another kill for Grosso. And this gives 8 set points for the Tyrants as Jake Langlois looks to close out this 3rd game. That'll have to wait at least 1 point.
In and out muffins.
Seifert, keep freedom alive. And Doug off of the block. New Jersey, little too tight. And Grosso ends game number 3, sending it down. And the Texas Tyrants, after a lopsided loss in game 1, have taken games 2 and 3 easily. And they will try to pull off a 4-set victory in this battle of unbeatens. Come back for more here in San Bernardino when we return. Back here courtside, Ira Thorne, Matt Prosser watching the unbeaten New Jersey Freedom about to fall into the loss column for the first time if they can't figure it out here in Game 4 against the also unbeaten Texas Tyrants. Matt, we've seen the fire from New Jersey be extinguished in these second and third sets. How do they reignite it?
Well, they had a really strong set number 1 in the opener, obviously. However, overall, they're playing good volleyball. The statistics are pretty solid. The only thing that really stands out to me is their service errors is now at 14, and they've only had 1 service ace since the end of game number 1, where they had 6 service aces. So really putting no pressure on the Tyrants from the inline, and that has allowed Texas to get a lot of momentum since that first set.
Looking at the numbers through the first 3 games, I should say. Ian Capp leads New Jersey with 11 kills. Joe Norman's got 10. Gianluca Grasso, 12. Jake Langlois, 9. Those have been your 4 biggest offensive threats as we are underway here in Game 4. A must-win for New Jersey to stay unbeaten. One-handed save there by Kionis. Ferrer with the dig. Here's Joe Norman, cross-court gets it. And as the side out goes over to Texas, we're going to send it over to our third member of our crew, Noah Chess, on the sideline with an update.
Well, Matt, you were spot on, Coach Carlos Edra, telling his Freedom to not overthink it. If you got to put a 75% serve in there just to get it over, you need to do it. They need to go back to what they were doing in the first set and targeting the libero. And again, they have too many service errors, not enough aces and out-of-system balls. And on the Tyrants side, Coach Grasso saying, don't make it easy for them. Keep the foot on the gas. And I even heard a little bit of a quoting of the late, great Kobe Bryant that the job not finished.
Thanks, Noah, as the New Jersey lead early on here in Game 4, 2-0. Reach out and stuff someone. Seifert and Norman getting involved. Here's Joe Norman. Well, you talked about him disappearing. Maybe those are my words, not yours. But being a little silent in those last couple games, Norman was. And he's certainly starting to reappear now with that big block and the kill. And they need more of that, leading 4-0.
Well, Freedom definitely does that. And I did perhaps say that, but it was off mic, Ira.
Well,
so
I was internalizing the the description of where Joe had gone. But, they just answered with another ace. That's the 8th for New Jersey. But remember, 6 of those came in that first set.
Yeah.
So they've only had 2 in the last 3. It's a 5-point lead. Now it's 6. Another stuff from the 7-foot combo.
just like that, a 6-0 advantage for Freedom.
And the Tyrants call timeout as New Jersey has reappeared after taking an hour off.
Just a lineup matchup, the dialing of the rotations, right? So Tyrants in rotation 1, they have their opposite hitter, Daniel Jacobs, on the left side, hitting against Joe Norman and Matt Seifert. So far, those two guys, the 6'10 blockers for Freedom, are winning that challenge.
This is why it's so important to have an analyst who truly knows the game, because I did not pick up on that matchup. I'm just sitting here, saying big words. And
you're reading statistical sheets and things like that.
Numbers and, correcting people's names or making up new names as we go along. But you pick up on all these little intricacies of the game, and this is why you're the best in the business. Don't tell Nick that.
I won't. He's probably watching right now anyways.
Hopefully for Nick's sake, he's taking a nap. That's what I did during game 1. We did our pregame show, went back to the hotel. I got a nice breakfast, a good power nap.
That's what happens when you roll into town at 3:30 a.m.
Man, that was not an easy drive. As that is Jake Langlois finally finding an answer off of the timeout.
Well, I really like that timeout from Coach Grasso. You know, obviously, anytime you don't score in the first 6 points, it's not helpful for your side, but you have to call a timeout and try to stop the momentum early. And that's exactly what the Tyrants did that time, as Langlois now on the end line ready to serve.
Matt talking about me rolling in at 3:30 in the morning. As I mentioned earlier, I had some exploits yesterday since I had the day to kill coming to the West Coast from the East Coast. I went hiking in Sedona in the dead of the heat, which is probably not the best idea I've ever had, but it was awesome. Cathedral Rock. As this ricochets off the ceiling. What a save! Oh, by Pearson laying out. But Ian Capp fires back. Grasso returns. And Capp's is going to dump this deep corner. Oh, what a useful spot! Ian Capp.
Wow, what an effort from both sides. Rally of the match so far. What an effort from Pearson. With freedom, giving her right back to him, making him work extra hard, and they find the coffin corner for that point.
That's where those accurate hands of a setter come in handy, even as an attacker.
That is unreal. The farmer's tan comes in handy as he sticks in the back corner. He leaves it short here, but that, my God, you can't see it better played than that by Capp. Got to appreciate just the textbook play to end what would have been a rally that maybe would have brought the Tyrants back into the set. It's now 7-2. And after I hiked in Sedona yesterday, I drove the 2 hours back to Phoenix. I knocked ballpark number 24 off of my list. I saw the Diamondbacks and the LA Dodgers. I was actually very offended by how many LA Dodger fans were at the game. Not many Diamondback fans. It's like they don't have any fans in Phoenix. And then, you know, I thought it's 5 hours from Phoenix to LA to San Bernardino. You know, how hard could it really be? Well, when you're also adding in the 3-hour time change from the East Coast, man, I was gassed.
What time did you wake up yesterday to make your flight at home?
4:45 a.m.
So that's
on 3 hours sleep.
1:45 a.m. California time.
Yeah, so I was basically up for 26 hours straight, minus a 30-minute cat nap.
You know what I
on
like
the
to call
side
that,
of I-10.
Ira? Dedication, sir. You should be applauded and patted on the back for that effort.
I'm going to pay for this someday. I don't know how many more excursions like I have this in my system as that is put away by Capp, and he is showing some juice now.
Be sure to stay with us for that 6 o'clock match today when you and Nick are on the call, and listen for any slip-ups or slurs as some of that sleep deprivation creeps in on Ira.
I think I'm pretty good now. I'm going to get another cup of coffee midday after I probably have like my 7th In-N-Out burger. Just to put a little extra engine back on the tracks, as that is put away by Texas to get a key side out, because now they trail by 5 instead of being down 7, which might be insurmountable. Now they'll bring in Tim Johnson here for Jacobs, and they'll have Anderson for Quinones. We did not see that substitution in the second or third sets.
Correct. Very interesting that going to it now at the early on point, only down by 5, but helps to have those 3 hitters through the front row.
Norman, and a blocking error on Ryan Mounty will send us back to New Jersey.
Yeah, an unfortunate block violation, net violation on the block that time, as Quinones or Pearson got the dig. I guess that was Grasso that got the dig, but not able to continue as that net violation entered the play.
Yeah, it was Grasso, and he did a nice job laying out, but he's not rewarded. And finally some smiles again on the New Jersey side. A blocking error on New Jersey. Dr. Doug says, yep, it was me.
You know, one good thing, we talked about Joe Norman's back issues that he's had, and that's not the good thing. The good thing is that he has a chiropractor on his squad.
I would like to have one. I need an adjustment after that 5-hour car ride and climbing up a
Cross-country
700-foot incline. And yeah, well, this time though I got the window seat. I was stuck in the middle like every other flight out here.
not much worse in the world than middle seats on cross-country flights.
Especially when you're, 6'1". I can't imagine being your size, 6'7", and stuck in the middle. My God, I would amputate my own legs. Oh, Doug Zemma scorching the earth.
What a statement swing from the chiropractors we just talked about. Being up and available and hammering that ball for the floor for the point.
And 11-6 lead. This fourth set has been an adjustment for New Jersey as they try to force a fifth game. Tim Johnson, one of the more electric players when he is on, will serve. Cypher with a fingertip. He needed to be all the 6'10" to keep that one in play. They go to Joe Norman. Pearson with a one-arm dig. And this will be freed over. Freedom trying to put it away here, and a attack error on Capp.
A net violation was called by our down official. A net violation, not sure on
Actually,
which
it may not
player.
have been on Capp. It might have been
It was on Elias.
Yeah,
actually.
it was. He grazed it with his left shoulder. And Capp and Elias are over to talk with our lead official for this one. It's actually Elias's right shoulder. And that is the correct call, it looks like. So side up for the Tyrants here. And good job for Texas to stay with us. They had a sizable 6-0 hole. Prior to that serve, had drawn within 3.
Well, the service errors are really hindering the Tyrants right now. They had been serving relatively consistent since set number 1, but here in set 4, under some pressure, their service game has eluded them thus far.
Well, you and I have worked together for about a year now, and I can start to tell some of your mannerisms, and you just looked in total disgust there at all these service errors.
Well, when you're losing, trying to get back into the game, Freedom has a lot of momentum, as you see right there from that strong swing from Capp. You can't miss your serves and just continue to let the other team run away with it.
So did I read your body language correctly, Coach?
Spot on, Ira.
Even with an hour and a half sleep. Ian Capp continuing to excel here. He is now up to 14 kills. That matches Grasso now for a match high. Capp and Grasso both get so much out of their size. None of them are as big and dominant as a Jake Langlois, who sticks that one down the line for a Tyrant side out.
Really, sorry, Ira, really nice hitting angle there from Jake Langlois to turn that ball down the line. It was off the net, kind of ran underneath the ball a little bit, but was able to make something out of nothing and score that point.
Well, Langlois is 6'10", Capp 6 foot. Langlois from the back row, dug up there by Elias. That is dug over after the New Jersey swing. Oh, and Matt Cypher destroys it.
Matt Cypher, we didn't say his name very much in sets 2 and 3, and all of a sudden he has become a very formidable weapon here for the Freedom in set number 4.
Now, passing's been better. They've been able to run their middles. And New Jersey works his lead back to 5. Ian Capp's had a number of consecutive service errors. We'll see if he can keep this one on the court. And did Jake Langlois touch it? They say no. And it'll be out of play. Some Capp missed long. Langlois got his arm out of the way just in time.
Yeah, he did a good dodgeball move that time.
I'm tempted to reference some key moments of the movie after that. And Joe Norman, the one-on-one. Can't block him that way. So 15-10.
We have attacked it, right? There's no timeouts yet.
Won't be a technical timeout in this set as the Tyrants had an early timeout down 6-0. Elias goes to Dr. Doug, and he gets stuffed by Ryan Mounty.
Well, Mounty doing a very nice job of being disciplined, staying in his position and not bailing out to go try to block an outside hitter, and gets his hands over the net. Gets that block point for the Tyrants.
All the sweat is off the court. It is safe to come out and play, and it's a 15-11 lead. As Jacobs, I should say, will serve here. Elias runs this one down as he runs off the court, and Ferreter. Here's Grasso, very tight, and he wins the battle against Joe Norman. Wow, Gianluca Grasso against a player almost a foot taller is able to win that battle.
Wow, very heads-up play by Grasso that time. He's probably been in that situation numerous times before, but the wherewithal to attack that joust and wait, hold his arm, lock it out, get that block against Norman. Very often the smaller player in the joust situation wins it based off of leverage, Ira, something that you should know very well. And that time Grasso basically writes the textbook on that one.
Are you saying that most of the times I was involved with the joust that I was the smaller player?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Ira.
You know that they haven't traditionally grown a lot of trees in New Jersey.
I'm only speaking that from my own experience as the 6'7" blocker, jousting against a shorter hitter and losing multiple times in my career as well.
I tried to stay away from the middles. I knew better.
Doesn't really matter if it's a middle or an outside, if it's a one-on-one situation.
Remember the first match I played club in college? I got matched up against a 6'6", 6'7" kid, and I came out scared. And you won the match, but you don't ever want to play scared in those situations. It's one of the biggest battles to learn how to play with confidence when you know that somebody's the better player. Jacobs staying on the floor, and Langlois is off the timeout. Carlo Edra called timeout here to try to calm his team down. Up by 3. The Tyrants going on a late run here, have been able to clip this to 15-13 as they are looking to end this in 4. As Jacobs, will he be able to keep the ball on the court here? Better serve for Jacobs. Here's Capp. And that's poked over by Mounty as Capp lays out for her. Here's Joe Norman, and he tools the hands.
A big swing that time, and a big moment by Joe Norman to get that kill off the Grasso block. A little redemption, perhaps, for the big opposite hitter for Freedom as he saunters back to the inline for his service attempt now. Got a couple of aces in set number 1, but has gone relatively quiet from the inline since then.
We'll see if the Bay Shore, New York native able to get a crucial service point here. And it's over on 1. That's good enough. New Jersey, can they capitalize? Capp. And it is long. However, the Tyrants are called into the net. And Ryan Mounty's insistent that he did not commit that infraction. They're going to challenge the touch. And I think that's a great challenge if you're Texas.
So the final ruling was that there was a net violation on Mounty. And Mounty is adamant that he did not net, so he commented over to his coach to take the challenge. And so the challenge is on the net violation, saying that Mounty did not, in fact, touch the net on his block.
Now, the point would have been terminated anyway because Capp's attack was out of play. So should this be overturned, it should be Texas ball.
Correct.
And from my perspective, I'm being totally honest, I think the in and out call could be challengeable. That's what I thought the question was going to be at the first glance. But they called the net call, changed the situation, and now they're challenging that.
Yeah, you're totally right. No, I didn't catch the line judge make a non-committal call as that ball went, what appeared to me was out of bounds, but I didn't have a great angle on it. So we'll see here as the Review is underway.
And that is a great point by Noah, because from my naked eye, I thought that ball clipped the line. So if they lose this challenge, we'll see if New Jersey uses one of their challenges. Remember, you can't take them to the 5th set. And they're saying it goes over to Texas. And now Carlo Edra is going to challenge whether it was in or out, which is exactly what we thought we were going to see. Well picked up by our man on the sideline, Noah Chast. And now the challenge within the challenge here in San Bernardino.
We're in challengeception. Strap in.
Not very often do you see a challenge after a challenge, but, you know, pushing the limits of modern volleyball is what we're trying to do here on the NVA, Ira.
I've been pushing the limits all day, even being here and wide awake right now.
No. As you can see from the playback, the close-up of our camera screen here. Noah, what do you got for us, Noah?
Yeah, the replay of the challenge cam looks like that ball is in the court. So I think this will be 2 successful challenges resulting in a freedom point.
So, if you like drama, we had some drama with our challenge system. It works. That is what we intended when we brought it to the NVA this year, and you're seeing it pay dividends. Both coaches successfully winning challenges, but only one can win the point.
And we'll get back to action as Joe Norman gets ready to serve. Freedom trying to win this set to force a tiebreaker.
That one certainly not in. And a side out goes to the Tyrants, but still a 17-14 lead for the boys in blue. New Jersey certainly has some patriotic New York City uniforms. That's left short. Grasso with the firepower couldn't clear it. Now it gets interesting. 4-point lead late for New Jersey. Tim Ferder, your server. Langlois has he tools the hands of Matt Elias. Here's Ryan Mounty. Clears the net. Norman swinging away. And he's able to stick it through Langlois and love it. Now we go back to a New Jersey serve. Here is Doug Zema, 19-15.
I think Freedom can start to taste it a little bit, trying to get to that tiebreaker 5th set here with this 4-point advantage now.
And it dances on the net, but lands on the New Jersey side. So they'll hand it back now to Gabo Quiones, trying to keep his team alive here in this set. And that's off the antenna on Capp.
Well, that's a very interesting play choice from Freedom and an unfortunate hitting error from Capp, who's been pretty reliable throughout the match. Tyrants now down by 2. Big key side out here for Freedom if they're able to do it.
So Norman reach out and stuff someone. Jake Langlois with a timely rejection, and the lead is trimmed to 1. And New Jersey up 4 is going to play on. The Tyrants trying to tie it.
For a quick attack if the pass is there from Matt Seifert on this one.
That's nearly passed off the court. Norman's going to have to high free ball this one over. They go to Langlois with a change of direction, and we are all square at 19 all.
The court awareness from Jake Langlois as Carlo Edger decides to use his second and final timeout of the set. Now that we're tied at 19 points apiece, Jake Langlois realizing where the open court was on that transition attack and scoring.
Coach Edger tried to let his team play through it, but when they couldn't, tied 19-all, he had to use his final timeout here. And so now it's a battle of the 6.
He asked the second official if he had still had a timeout to use at 18-19. Coach said, yes, he did, Coach, but he chose not to use it, and now we are tied up at 19-all, and he takes his second timeout.
Now, sometimes you want to allow your guys to try to work it out themselves, and sometimes that's just not entirely possible. You got to do something to cool the momentum. We're clearly not going to see, by the way, the debut of Danny Venegas today. So this is what New Jersey is going to try to battle it out with. 19-all. Gabo Quiones continuing to serve. That goes over after the swing by Seifert. This time Joe Norman gets stuffed again. Langlois is teaming with Lovett, and the Tyrants have scored 5 in a row to take the lead, 20-19.
Wow, what a blocking show put on by Jake Langlois that time.
And New Jersey running out of answers now here in this 4th set. Must get a side out here. They go to Capp and they get it as he has the cross-court smash. 20-20. It was a terrible year, but it's a great score if you're in New Jersey because you still have a chance. We go to Langlois one-on-one, and he gets... I am ceasing to come up with words to describe when Jake does ungodly things.
That is a rare occasion, Ira, when you lose the verbiage to describe the angles that Jake Langlois is attacking that ball at.
New Jersey trying to tie it here. Norman from the outside, and he tools the block. Quiones laying out. Nearly got there. Some things moved, but you know, I think our cameras are here in one piece. A crucial side out for New Jersey. Now can Capp keep this on the court? 21-all. He's had troubles in the service game, but not here. Oh, a timely ace from Ian Capp as he pings one off of Pearson. Timeout, Texas.
A very timely ace that time. Capp missed his last 2 serves. That time dials up a spader off of Pearson. Coach Grasso has to call a timeout now.
Well, Langlois and Capp certainly carrying their teams late here in this set. And when everything's on the line, all the money is out there, those are 2 guys you know you can turn to. Both teams having these guys in their arsenal for the first time this year. Jake Langlois played for Utah last year. Ian Capp played for the Chicago Untouchables. And you can't imagine these teams without them right now.
Absolutely not. They're huge impact players, and let's see what Capp can do after that timeout.
So that was the second timeout for the Tyrants. Remember, they called one down 6-0. It's 22-21, and Capp into the net. So now it's a race to 3. And here's Austin Lovett. We go to Joe Norman, and he gets stuffed again. Different combination. Ryan Mounty, Gianluca Grasso, Norman, 3 attacks in a row from the right side that have been shut down. Can't believe it.
Ryan Mounty coming into the front row, and his first opportunity gets that huge stuff down on Joe Norman. And right now, Freedom has to find someone that'll be terminal on their attack.
23-22. Tyrants have scored 2 in a row. Must point here for New Jersey. And Seifert able to dig it off the net, but the poke into the antenna. And the Tyrants have stormed back. They have 2 match points.
Tyrants putting on a blocking clinic.
That's long, so 1 match point shaved off. Matt Seifert with the ball in his hands, trying to tie it at 24. If not, the Tyrants are 5-0. Floater handled by Langlois. They go to Grosso, and he gets stuffed. Norman returning the favor alongside Dr. Doug.
What a block that time to get it back. Joe Norman and Doug Zema pairing up nicely on Grosso that time. And we're going to get overtime volleyball, Ira. 24 apiece now.
Wouldn't want it any other way to decide who's the last unbeaten in the league. Seifert, another good floater. Down the line, it is dug up and sent over here by Capp. They go to Mountie, who gets blocked back. Grosso this time, and he misses wide off of the ankles of Coach Carlo Endra. And New Jersey scores 3 in a row with their backs against the wall, and they now have set point, trying to force a 5th. Not a great pass there by Langlois. That's blocked back. Chance here for Texas. And an answer from Jacobs.
A huge swing by Jacobs. A second opportunity after hitting the first one into the block. Delivers on the second one. 25 serving 25. The advantage to Freedom. All they have to do is side out to get back to match point. Can the Tyrants score a real point here?
Off the tape, waiting for that was Ferreter. Oh, Dr. Doug with the examination.
More like the diagnosis of getting that point through the middle. What a swing from Dr. Doug right there.
Wow, he has come up big today. They don't have any other, well, they got Paul Balanzig. Other than that, they're very light in the middle category today. They don't have Thomas Burrell. They don't have Matt Stuff'em Buff'em. And they lead 26-25. Joe Norman for set point number 2. Run down by Quiones. And that one sails into Nevada. And we are going to game number 5. New Jersey and Texas. Someone will be unbeaten. This one will go the distance. Come back for more.
Well, welcome back to the fifth set. And guys, did you expect anything less? The two undefeated teams, the Freedom and the Tyrants, they're going 5, and it's just been a joy to watch, trading blows. The big guys, Langlois and Norman, the smaller but well-rounded and big and spirit guys in Grosso and Capp. They're trading emotion. There's lots of energy. If you're watching this and you have a friend, brother, uncle, cat who's not, tell them to tune in right now, because this is some fantastic volleyball here at the NVA. Ira, Matt, let's get it started.
Thanks, Noah. Did he just say a cat watching this match? That is fine journalism on the sideline. Thank you, Noah, as we are going to the fifth set. Grab your pets, grab your snacks, grab your beverages on this lovely Memorial Day weekend. We hope you are enjoying this one wherever you're watching across North America or around the world. Be safe, everybody. It's a weekend that means so much to so many people, and we're glad that we're able to provide some entertainment here with professional volleyball out here on the West Coast. One of these teams will be unbeaten in about 15 minutes' time. New Jersey had to score 3 in a row there just to keep that fourth set going when the Tyrants had 2 match points at 24-22. Jake Langlois, you know when you go shopping and the little old lady needs help getting some cans off the top shelf and they find the tallest boy walking down the aisle? Yep. Well, that's what our officials just did with Jake Langlois. The replay camera was tilted and they asked Jake Langlois to reach up and fix it, and he did. And Ian Capp ignites down the line and clips off the ceiling. Cannot be saved by Texas. Freedom with the early lead.
Well, that ball was going to come back towards the Tyrant court, and then it caught the air duct, bounced the opposite direction. Tyrants couldn't adjust, so first point of the game, number 5, going to Freedom.
I'm sure that happens to you quite a bit, Matt. You know, somebody stops you, you need some cereal off the top shelf.
I'm happy to help. Yeah, happy to help the old lady that can't reach that Honey Nut Cheerios on the top shelf.
I don't know why they ever put the Cheerios there. Terrible product placement shop, right? Joe Norman down the other line. And Freedom has re-emerged. Now Gianluca Grosso coming over to have a conversation alongside his father, Coach Mauro Grosso. Jake Langlois with our down official.
Yeah, I think what Jake Langlois wants Coach Grosso to do is to call a challenge on a center line violation. However, it might be more of an interference ruling that our second official isn't calling because that's a judgment call. So it's just some contact under the net doesn't result in a stoppage of play.
And remember, if they do challenge us and lose, that's it. They have one challenge. Everything that either team didn't use in their first 4 sets is now wiped out. It's like that bank account that you forgot you had and the government confiscates it. Well, that's what happens with your remaining challenges. 1 challenge apiece. So not that I've ever had that happen to me.
Our officials are chatting about it over their radio system. All of our officials have headsets on. Our first official, second official, and our lead official up in the replay booth. They can't communicate to one another, so they're working together to get this corrected.
And if you win the challenge, you get to have another one. So if this is a challengeable play, I believe the Tyrants are going to probably want to use this early. They don't want to fall down 2-0 right out of the gates.
I think what is being clarified is whether or not you can, in fact, challenge this situation in the middle of a play on a no-call center line violation.
So we just took off our headsets to have a one-on-one perspective here of our conversation between our down official and head coach Mauro Grasso. And I mean, Matt, you'll be able to explain this a little better than I have, but the official said to Mauro that you can challenge this, but if you do, you'll lose because part of the play is a judgment call that the official is entitled to make.
Because the net violation that they would want to challenge wasn't an attacking situation, so it was an off-play net violation, right? So an unintentional net violation, which sounds kind of confusing to myself as I say it, because typically that means that a net is a net, but it is being confirmed. Freedom point. It's 2-0. There's still some time here, but perhaps the Tyrants will be able to work through this and lead to some additional conversations after this match is over about the call.
Well, Coach Grasso looked our way and shook his head. He vehemently disagrees with it. That is saved by Jacobs over on one. And then Ian Capp able to tool the hands on that desperation play. 3-0 Freedom. Great effort by Jacobs laying out to try to preserve it. The Freedom started off the first and fourth set strong. They had to rally in the fourth to come back. Do they have a fifth set win in them? Laying out for that one is Elias for the dig. Here's Joe Norman. And Jake Langlois gets stuffed by Norman and company.
Yeah, that's not a good sign for your Tyrant fans out there as Jake goes to that reliable tip shot, but finds the block and instantly accepts that it was his own fault for choosing that one. That set a little bit tight, but Coach Mauro Grasso calls his timeout now, and it's still early, 4-0, but it is a race to 15 points, so got to stay within striking distance here for the Tyrants, and they need to move on and just get back to their style of volleyball.
And for New Jersey, you know, got to give a lot of credit to them keeping cool heads about them. They literally had their backs against the wall, 2 match points, and were able to overcome that. And ever since that, you saw the momentum swing, not just on the court, but in the mind games as well.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's a pretty tricky predicament to be in when you're down 2 match points to come back and then win that set to force a 5th set tiebreaker. So credit to New Jersey for the mental fortitude required to get that job done, but this match is not over yet, Ira. Still some time here.
Well, I've known Coach Carl Edger for, 17, 18 years. I was actually at his wedding to his lovely bride, Nicole, way back when. So I know how he, as Capp puts that to the floor, how he's able to calmly keep his team collected. And it is certainly paying dividends here in this 5th set as they lead 5-0. Here's Elias to serve. Down the line, goes after Langlois. Jake will swing away, and Alou can't save it, so a side out. First point of this 5th set for Texas.
Well, that's a huge point. The Tyrants absolutely needed a side out on that one, or else it might have been a little bit too little too late. That keeps them within 4. Jake Langlois still in the front row, but Tyrants need some quick block and defense points now.
Back set to Capp, and that's some blocking points. As you see Langlois and Lovett with the stuff it.
Well, Elias really needs to look at the blockers of the Tyrant side to see what the matchups are. Quinones against Norman right now, perhaps.
Here's Norman from the outside, off the chest of Jake. That's collected by Elias. Alou with a nice set. Mountie runs this one down, and a free ball for Texas. Can New Jersey capitalize? And they will, as that is put away by Matt Seifert.
Now a huge opportunity. Matt Seifert getting his number called on the quick attack in transition. Freedom hasn't utilized him very often unless the pass has been perfect. That was the perfect opportunity to run that play and score that point.
So it was 6-1, 6-2 lead, I should say. Better pass for Texas. That one too long. Grasso wants a touch. Won't matter, as our lead official for the match says back row attacker. He was in front or on the 10-foot line. I can't see the 10-foot line because it is directly behind our courtside camera. But the official makes the call, and Capp 7-2 will serve. Over on one, down on one. Seifert puts it away. Great serve by Ian Capp, who struggled in the service game through our first 3 sets and has made the adjustments to allow his squad to have a commanding 8-2 lead.
Team Freedom has found that service pressure that they had in set number 1 and the momentum as well that they had in set number 1 that carried them to that 25-15 victory. Right now, a 6-point advantage in a race to 15 points is basically worth its weight in gold, Ira.
As Ian Capp will look to build upon this. Here's Langlois, and he misses long. You saw what his intentions were there, Matt. He was trying to hit it off of the fingertips of Norman.
Correct.
6'9" against 6'10", and well, Norman, it looked to me that he pulled away just at the last second. So smart play, and New Jersey just dominating this 5th set. Capp left that one short to the run end. Still a 6-point lead, and they are 6 away from being the lone unbeaten remaining.
And if the Tyrants are able to come back and win this match, it's going to be hard for the Tyrants to sleep tonight knowing that they had 2 match points, but they couldn't get the job done.
Probably the same toughness that the Ramblers had when they had that match won against the Tyrants 3 weeks ago, as that is crushed by Tim Ferreter.
We haven't said Ferreter's name a lot since set number 1, but that time a key moment coming in with that hard cross-court winner.
Well, I think you can make a case that Ferreter is in some way playing to keep his starting spot at this point, because when they had Dan Vegas, they're not going to take Capp out. That's not happening.
No.
So it's obviously Ferreter's spot that Venegas would be competing for. And Capp able to get a touch on it, but Matt Seifert not able to run that down. Tough play.
What a swing from Jacobs on the left side on a high set, kind of tight. Had Joe Norman and Zema right in front of him, and Jacobs swinging for the fences, absolutely hammered that one.
Here's Joe Norman cross court, and he plants it.
Joe Norman with a great cross-court angle to give his side their 11th point of set number 5. Now just 4 points away from winning this match.
Joe Norman's our man in the match because how he's been able to answer after getting blocked 3 in a row. He's completely turned it around. He carried his team.
And an ace from Norman. 10th ace for the Freedom, and Norman, after getting blocked 3 times in a row in that 4th set, has completely swung the pendulum the other direction, and New Jersey is on the doorsteps. And a side out here for Texas. I don't know what you talk about at this point. Down 8 in a race to 15. The Tyrants' reign at the top of the charts looks in peril. Texas out of the National Central Division, Freedom out of the National Coastal. These teams will not play again until perhaps the playoffs.
My pregame pick of the Tyrants looked good in set number 4, and certainly looks like it's going to go in your favor.
Looks like Ira Thor's going to open up a wider lead in our pregame standings. Oh, the pain.
Now it's a marathon, not a sprint, Ira. So
I'm just going to make smart picks the rest of the year to hold on to my lead. I'm going to go with the money line. Side out here, Austin Lovett will try to see if he can get a few service points and chip away at this and make it more interesting. But not when Capp can pass like that and allow Joe Norman to swing away. That clips off of the ceiling, and a kill for Joe Norman. Langlois from the back row, and that's just textbook Jake.
Yeah, Jake with a nice in-system big attack. Tyrants needed that. They haven't utilized it as much as I was expecting today. But that time running it right on cue.
And this one will sail off of the court, an ace for Jacobs. It's not over yet. Jacobs has probably been the most consistent all-around player in this match. Doesn't have the numbers of a Grasso or Langlois, but for Texas, been their most consistent weapon. But they still trail big. Lou with the pass. They go to Dr. Doug. And he gives New Jersey 7 set match points. Match points at 14-7. And they'll hand it, well, right back to the doctor. New Jersey trying to end it here. Doug Zema goes too long. So match point number 2 coming up. As the Tyrants have made the double switch. Again, Anderson and Johnson are both in. Moro Grasso to serve to try to remain unbeaten. Over on 1, Langlois blocked back by Elias. Here's Tim Johnson. Capp to end it, and he does. Here, freedom ring. New Jersey unbeaten, the last team standing at 5-0 in the NVA. And the Tyrants in 5 sets taste defeat for the first time this year.
Gosh, what a comeback turnaround by Team Freedom. Being down in set number 2, 2 match points against them. They're able to turn the tides, win set number 4, and then come out and put up a very dominant set 5 victory, 15-8. to take the title of this match and stay undefeated in the 2022 NVA season, Ira.
I think when the year started, if you were going to pick a team that would be the last unbeaten in the league, you would look at the Tyrants, you would look at the Stunners, you would look at Las Vegas, of course. I don't think Team Freedom would have been in that initial conversation, but they're showing that they're well coached, they're well rounded. They don't have a lot of weak links, if any, on the entire roster. And they're coming together and playing an entertaining style of volleyball. And even when they have their backs against the wall, that they have the ability to find answers. Somebody else can always be turned to have the answer. And today, when Joe Norman got cold, it was Doug Zema who came up big at times. Obviously, Ian Capp is always a factor. Matt Elias ran a tremendous offense. Yep. I thought he was just very consistent throughout. And then Joe Norman figured things out in a big way late.
Definitely Joe Norman, credit to him working through those 3 straight blocks that were done against him by the Tyrants. But you're right, Freedom showing their depth and their capabilities in a nice way and pulling out the victory.
So New Jersey improves to 5-0. And the Tyrants taste defeat for the first time. And we are going to do something that we've actually never done before. We're going to have men of the match. We're going to send it over to the sideline where Noah Chast is joined by Big Joe Norman and Ian Capp.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ira. Our first time co-men of the match, Joe Norman and Ian Capp. You two combined for 39 kills. How were you able to find your offense and bounce back from that deficit? Ian, I'll start with you.
Honestly, I think it was just trusting the process. I think we just needed to figure ourselves out in sets 2 and 3, because after set 1, we kind of rolled through set 1, took it a little easy in set 2, and that's why we got beat in set 2 pretty badly. So we had to try and regroup in set 3, and obviously towards set 4 and 5, we started clicking really well.
Joe, in the middle of that 4th set, it seemed like Langlois had your number at the net.
Absolutely.
How did you come back and kind of keep yourself on the course?
I guess just focusing on defense. A point like that happens. You got to shake it off and be ready to attack the next one. And all these guys on the court give me the confidence to keep swinging. Same thing goes for Capp. We want our guys swinging and doing their best. Just got to recover from every swing.
Ian, it wasn't your most maybe consistent night at the service line. How did you stay confident back there to keep ripping it?
Obviously, as you saw, wasn't the best, as you just said. I knew that in set 5, Joe actually came to me and was like, hey, we really need you to put your serves in 1, and then 2, once you get your first one in, start ripping it. And once I got the confidence after the first serve that I actually made it in, it showed that I actually could do it. I was making sure I put every effort into my serve in the 5th set.
Last unbeaten team left in the NVA. How's it feel?
Feels good. Still got work to do, though, this weekend.
Congrats, guys, on the win. Our co-men of the match, Joe Norman and Ian Capp. The New Jersey Freedom stay undefeated. Ira, Matt?
Thanks, Noah. And as one of our fans said in the chat, true New Jersey grit. We don't even say new, just Jersey grit. You know, being the lone member of our crew from the East Coast, I live that every day. So it is true, the style that this team plays. Obviously, you have the talent, but they're also not ever going to quit. That is kind of the Jersey thing. That's when they say Jersey grit. So great performance today by New Jersey. Texas, they're not going anywhere. This is a team that is going to be very difficult out this year. I still think that they might be a team that is going to contend for a title this year, but right now New Jersey's the last unbeaten in the league. We look at the upcoming schedule for today, because this is only the second of 4 matches today. We got 2 more to come up. Stay with us at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 Eastern. It'll be the Las Vegas Ramblers as they try to shake off that tough loss to the Tyrants in our last event 3 weeks ago. They'll take on the LA Blaze. Both teams are 3-1 on the year. And then I'll be back with you at 6 p.m. as the OC Stunners take on the upstart Colorado Kraken, who are 2-2 on the year, to the surprise of many. These teams tomorrow will also be back in action. The Freedom will play the Utah Stingers tomorrow to look to improve to 6-0 for the first time. And the Tyrants will look to bounce back from this 5-set loss as they take on the Inland Empire Matadors. Matt, your final thoughts on this one, as New Jersey, you look at the numbers and it's pretty impressive. They got 10 aces, 14 block points, and a combined 39 kills from our men of the match, Joe Norman and Ian Capp.
Yeah, well, as expected between those 2 undefeated teams before that match started, to go the distance, a very entertaining match. Ian Capp, Joe Norman, well-rounded, quality outputs from both of them, but with the assistance of Matt Elias, Matt Seifert, as well as the rest of Team Freedom. Congratulations to them to continue undefeated and give the Tyrants their first loss of the year. However, for the Tyrants, look, they played a good match. They had 2 match points. That's sort of how this sport goes sometimes. So they just need to get some rest, get ready for tomorrow's match, and see if they can get out of this weekend with a 1-1 record.
And they will have their libero, Jose Malero, back tomorrow. I think that will make a major difference in their scheme. And we'll see the Tyrants how they answer tomorrow. And that'll be it for courtside for us today. Thanks for joining us. A very entertaining match in our marquee contest on day number 1 of our 3rd event of the 2022 season. Again, stay with us 3 p.m. It'll be the Ramblers and the Blaze, 2 teams that come in at 3-1 in the year. For our entire crew and our sideline reporter Noah Chast and my partner Matt Prosser, I'm Ira Thor. Thanks for watching this one. The Freedom continue to ring. They're unbeaten at 5-0.